And now, give a big Spokane Comedy Club welcome to your host for the evening.
All right, welcome to the Spokane Comedy Academy show. Give it up for yourselves for supporting your friends doing this for the first time. Yeah. Look at this, on a Tuesday night right before Thanksgiving. Just to explain this a little bit, this is a show where a lot of people are going to be doing stand-up comedy for the first time in their life. Don't be a dick. Laugh at everybody. You know? Be cool. You guys know what's going on. You guys over here, step up your game. If you don't know what's going on, look over them. They'll be laughing. Do what they do. It's a big step to do stand-up comedy for the first time. My name's Philip Kopczynski. I am one of the teachers. I am from Spokane, Washington. I'm a road comic from here. A lot of people don't associate like doing classy shit in Spokane. I did a gala here recently. They asked me if I wanted to wear a tuxedo. I'm like, why, dude? We're in Spokane. Do you need me to wear like a camo tuxedo? Like, wearing a tuxedo in Spokane is like wearing a monocle to court, you know? Like, you're not fooling anybody, right? Yeah, dude, it's winter time. I actually keyed someone's car with my nipple outside, so I'm sorry about that. I had a good summer, though. I hope you guys had a good summer. I went to Disney World, took the family to Disney World, had a great time, and I've gone there 3 times. I have never had a good time before. This time I had a great time because I got high. It was awesome. It's the only way, and I know there's people who are like, oh, you shouldn't get high at Disney. That's not what Jesus would want. I disagree. Because I went on It's a Small World high, and that shit was a spiritual experience, man. I was on that little raft like, oh, it is a small world, after all. We got to the one point where the like little German dolls come out with the lederhosen, and they're just like, eat uns, guns, Stephen, uns, sie, Stephen, deep. I mean, that's not, I don't speak German, but that's what it sounded like to me. I was looking at that and I'm like, oh dude, I bet this is what it looks like inside a cuckoo clock. You know? And I was like way better with my kids the whole time. I was relaxed. You know, they know they're not supposed to ask me for anything, but they ask for treats and I'm like, yeah man, here's some money, go get an ice cream sandwich. Also, go get a frozen banana so I can watch your mom eat it. Not a chocolate one, that would be weird. What are you doing, man? Come on. I know she thinks they're bigger, but they're not. It's just an illusion based on the lack of shadows, okay? You look at all the bananas, they all average out. Yeah, man, we went to, then we ended our day with the Little Mermaid ride. And there was tension between my wife and my oldest son. They went together. And to be fair, she did like 7 shots in karaoke the entire ride. She came up to me, she's like, well, apparently I'm not allowed to sing on the Little Mermaid ride. My son's like, she sang the whole time, Dad! And it was embarrassing, because she did not have any, like, cultural sensitivity. You know, she was committed to that Jamaican crab accent. And it was racist, but, like, adorable, you know? Like an anti-Semitic 3-year-old. You know, like, I don't think the Holocaust is real. Like, that's cute, you know? I'm just trying to prepare you for the crazy shit you're gonna hear later, so I'll throw that in there so you can get ready for the rest of this show, all right? Oh, and I told my son, I go, listen, man, if she's singing on that ride, we're in the best position a family can be because we have unlocked Fun Mom. Fun Mom is here. That's the best. You always want Fun Mom until she turns into Crack Whore Mom. Then that's too far. But Fun Mom's the best. You know, I was like, buddy, I knew her back when she was Fun Girlfriend. She was always Fun Girlfriend. Then she became Fun Wife, and that's how you got made. Don't fuck this up for me, man. All right, I know you think you know her because you're in there for 9 months, but I've been going in and out for like 20 years. Don't screw this up for me. Yeah, we met in college, we had kids really young, but you know, I'll tell you what, I grew up when my wife brought home a breast pump. That's a lot of real life coming at a young man. If you've never seen one of these things, it's like a funnel on a bottle, just right there, little airtight seal, and then there's like a tube that goes to like a car battery, and the whole thing just sounds like emphysema, just And we had an old school model too, man. Looked like a defibrillator. We'd plug into the wall, dude. Our lights would start dimming just a little bit. Just. And I had no idea, how quick it would happen. We'd be talking. She's normally a C cup. I'd look away. I'd look back. She's like a Dutch milkmaid at Oktoberfest. And she was always in so much pain. Every single time she was like, I left the pump at your mom's. The kids are in bed. Will you suck some out? I'm like, Jesus Christ. But I mean, I did it, I'm a good husband. This is how she got me to do it. She used my language against me. She was like, well, maybe just put the tip in your mouth and see what happens. It won't take long, I'm really close. So next thing you know, my head's in her lap, like, you gotta tell me when it's gonna happen. I don't wanna get it in my eyes. Dude, I got it in my eyes. I got a lot of it in my eyes. I got an unruly amount of it in my eyes. But that's marriage, man, it's sacrifice. Sometimes you just gotta get a little lactation, just in your face, man. You have kids young, you gotta man up, suck that titty milk, dog. You know what I mean? My kids are older now, but there's like, every few years there's this new thing, you gotta they always pitch new shit to parents, There's this thing out now, you dip it in the breast milk, and it tells you if there's any residual alcohol. I was so glad that wasn't around when my kids were little. I would have just been like, hon, you gotta keep drinking, because daddy wants those White Russians on tap. All right, cool, I think you guys are ready. So just real quick before I bring up the first comic, everybody has a little card on your table. You can fill it out and you can get free tickets to go see shows that I might be in. So, so feel free to join the club. This is a great place. They don't give away the emails or anything like that. It's a family-owned business. I don't even think they would know how to do that, to give it away to Russian hackers or whatever. We're not gonna hack the email of the Spokane Comedy Club. So, all right, so the first comic of the night, he is taking the bullet. He's the first comic. I think you guys are totally ready. Please give a huge round of applause for Nenad Skinovich. Yeah!
I can't pronounce your name either, anyway. Good evening. My name is Nenad Skinovich, and I am legal. Barely. My wife sure always reminds me of it. We have a lovely marriage, actually. We live in harmony. We tolerate each other. I did buy a shovel. Now, me and my wife go back and forward, making fun of each other's ancestry a lot. Standard, run-of-the-mill, mostly racist jokes. But ultimately, it's a marriage sealed in, celebration and acceptance of cultural diversity. All in all, fuck Asians. One Asian, to be exact. My wife. Fuck her. And I do when she lets me. Or when I drug her. No, we do go back and forward, making fun of each other. My jokes, very lazy. I go for the eyes, or the kung fu. She, on the other hand, way better than me. She would say stuff like, your people were under Ottoman Empire rule for 500 years. Jesus, Kelsey. Did you do research for these jokes? I guess Asians are really good at homework. Yeah, I'm not proud of it, but I do make a lot of Asian jokes. She makes a lot of dick jokes. Which, jokes on her, those are also Asian jokes. We have a lovely marriage. One thing that she really harps on is that I'm not circumcised. You know how many embarrassing moments I had to try to date girls in America? Trying to seduce and getting a gasp? Not the good one. Oh God! It looks like that dog. A Shar-Pei? A Chihuahua? My wife, on the other hand, I took to the zoo on one of our first dates. She was very disgusted by anteaters. Well, lady, you'll be highly disappointed later. And by later, I'm saying it took me 3 months to have sex with her. 3 months to convince her it's okay. And back then I had the thick KGB accent too. Everything sounded so aggressive too. It is okay. You try not to look at it, just take it. Not a sexy accent. More like 50 Shades of Communist Red. I love you, Kelsey. You're my favorite Asian. You and the Wu-Tang Clan. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, keep it going. Keep it going one time, starting out this time. That's what I love about this class. When you're giving notes, you're like, I think you should talk about your anteater dick down here. Maybe. Please give it up for the next comic of the night, Mitch Rasmussen.
Jesus. Spider-Man's an asshole. I don't know if you know this, but he got his powers when he was like 15. And he decided the first thing he was gonna do is swing around New York City in tights. And I don't know about you, but when I was 15 and going through puberty, I had boners all the time. So now you've got this 15-year-old in tights, prepubescent boners swinging around New York City. God forbid you look up, because now you're a sex offender. Thanks a lot, Spider-Man. I can't pick up my kids anymore. The second thing that makes Spider-Man an asshole is what happens if he misses a building with his poopy poopies. Where do those go? You're just walking down the street, minding your own business. All of a sudden you get whipped in the face by some spider jizz. Now you have a midday money shot. You didn't ask for this, but you get to deal with it. I mean, to be fair, if I had Spider-Man's body, adult Spider-Man, because talking about kid Spider-Man would be really weird. I would probably wear tights too. As it stands now, if I wore tights, I would look like somebody shoved Play-Doh in a condom. Nobody needs that. But I did try to work out. I bought the gym membership. I tried to go, but I kept getting hungry. I went out, I bought the running shoes with the mesh, you know, the ones that help your feet breathe. I got running pants that help me run away from my problems. And I bought a bunch of t-shirts that I cut the sleeves off of. I'm 27. I'm not from the Jersey Shore. I don't know what to do with a stack of sleeveless shirts. I work for a living. But at least Spider-Man's parents, or Peter Parker if you're friends, named him something normal. I'm sick and tired of people messing up their kids' names. Don't add extra letters just for the sake of adding letters. Oh, this is my daughter Mariah. That's a nice name. Oh, it's M-U-H-R-Y-U-E-G-H. Do me a favor, get your tubes tied. Don't look after another human life. Oh, this is my son Chad, but it's C-H-O-A-D-E. The O and E are silent. Go fuck yourself, Karen. Just because your son will be a chode in high school doesn't mean you need to spell it that way. Fuck your kid. Speaking of chodes, I do think about Hitler a lot. Not like a racist amount, a historical amount though. Because, I mean, minus the whole Holocaust thing, which was totally real, by the way. And if you don't believe that, do me a favor, don't vaccinate your kids. Fix the problem on its own. For a split second, Hitler was a good guy. And I mean like a muzzle flash of a second. He did kill Hitler. I'm not wrong. I just hope that one day, the people that do follow Hitler will remodel their skull with a skylight themselves. Thank you.
All right. We're moving along. All right, next comic of the night. Please give it up for Gail Reynolds. Come on.
I love to play pornographic Scrabble. Online with real human beings. Preferably human beings behaving badly. I don't know what it is. It's just the feeling of all that cranial aggression coming at me. It's like a sport. Mud wrestling for introverts. And the nastier it gets, the better I like it. Oh, and the language. Oh my goodness. Oh, bitch. Pig. Scuzz. Snatch. Cunt. Well, if you can't handle that, if you don't like that, then there are robots in these game sites that you can play with. I don't particularly like playing with a robot. They never get mad. They don't care if they win or lose. They don't call you foul names or threaten you. For that, you have to play with a real, live human being. And I have my favorites. Man who grows mint in Tucson comes to mind. He's a man. He grows mint in Tucson. Or he's a dude sitting on his cot in a maximum security prison in the middle of the Arizona desert. Or a 12-year-old boy masturbating under his blankets in the Catalina foothills. My handle is Blissy4. Blissy 1, 2, and 3 were taken. Okay, man who grows mint in Tucson. He's a high roller. If I can beat him, my score will skyrocket. I'll be the new gunslinger in town. So, man who grows mint in Tucson, he has the first play. And he lays out this word, and all I see is the S, because that's all I need, because I have a monster good word to play. I see that S, and I'm ready to roll. I go, okay, here's my chance. O-R-G-A-S-M-I-C-S. Orgasmics. There's a shivery silence. Man who grows mint in Tucson challenges my word. He challenges orgasmics. Orgasmics is the study of the orgasm in a civilized society that renders itself close to the natural world. Okay, so he challenges and he loses. He loses his turn. And so it's my turn again. And I play immediately. I hit that card, Z-A-X. I play the X on a triple letter red square. 75 words, bing, 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 bing. And he gets mad. That's all the time I have, folks.
All right, we're gonna put this back right here. Give it up for the next comic, Jay Berg. Yeah.
I'm gonna go do terrible stuff with Gail later tonight. I am man who grows mint in Tucson. There are 256 original Hallmark Christmas movies. Yeah, I think we can all agree that's enough. That's enough. Maybe even too many. I don't think there are 256 original Hallmark Christmas cards. They made 40 new ones this year alone. 40. There are porn producers who are like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot. You're gonna dilute your product. Now, with so many movies, you can imagine the stars that are in these movies. There are such heavyweights as Candace Cameron, and that's it. That's right, Candace Cameron is the star of every Hallmark Christmas movie. It's a fact. That you might think it gets confusing, but it doesn't, because every Hallmark Christmas movie is exactly the same. That's right, I got a fan. I lost my Christmas spirit. I found my Christmas spirit. Hey, look, it's Santa. Roll credits. We're done. Just once, I wish they'd mix it up a little bit, right? Like, just once. Maybe have Candace Cameron commit a triple homicide or something, right? It can be on Mistletoe Lane. That's fine. Like, keep with the naming structure. Or maybe like a Hallmark Christmas themed porn. Like holidays and like something like that might work. But no, they keep it very formulaic. And the first part of that formula, no black people. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. There are no black people in a Hallmark Christmas movie. Check the stats, they're there. It looks like Spokane when the Zags are on the road. Yeah. All right, pipe down, I only have 5 minutes, come on. No, every once in a while they'll put like a couple of black people at the end of the movie, like they forgot about it. But you can tell it's an afterthought. Because you're just watching it, you're going, is that a CGI R. Kelly hanging mistletoe? Oh my God, what's he doing with those carolers? Yeah, okay. That's fair. That's fair. So, Candace Cameron enters a holiday baking contest, which is weird because she hates the holidays and baking in her hometown and pretty much everything else. And it's weird that there's a baking contest because it's the whole point of the movie is this baking contest, but the stakes could not be lower. It's like the winner gets like a half-eaten apple and a $20 gift card to Radio Shack. Awesome. Radio Shack doesn't exist anymore. But of course, along the way, she meets a man. And I'm telling you, he's unrealistic. He's not a real person. There's just no way. I know ladies get mad about that, and this is our dude. Ladies, if you're watching a Hallmark Christmas movie, you need to wear something absorbent. Because this dude, he's 6'3", he's perfect. Perfect. He's impossibly perfect. He does CrossFit but doesn't tell anybody about it. I mean, we're talking about unrealistic shit. It's completely unrealistic. Like, he's got some crazy altruistic job that there's no way exists. Like, yeah, I run an animal shelter that has exclusively 3-legged Pomeranians. Like, I whittle prosthetics for him in my free time, no big deal. But then you see his house, and it's a mansion with like 6 cars out front. You're like, holy shit, how much is this guy charging for a 3-legged dog? It's amazing. But at the end of the movie, all is well. She wins the baking contest, and the Christmas town gets to go one more year of minority-free living. All right, guys, have a good night. My name is Jay Bird. Thank you very much.
All right, next comic that we're going to keep it moving all the way from Spokane, Washington. Etienne Duvar.
Thank you. Shut up. I didn't fucking cure cancer. And don't worry, bro. I slept through French class too. Seriously, man. I am so used to people messing up my name, but apparently not enough. I missed a flight once, sitting at the gate because she fucked up my name so bad. Final boarding call for gate A17, Flatchets to Seattle. Flight passenger Ellen DeGeneres. Oh shit! Ellen's on this flight? Fuck! I was supposed to be getting on that sometime. But I am biracial, and that's fun, man, because I can play whatever the fuck I want, and no one's gonna say shit. You gonna tell me I'm not Mexican? No, you're not. Tell me I'm not Eskimo? Shut the fuck up. I did get Hawaiian a lot. Mahalo, motherfucker. Yeah, my mother is white and my dad is black. My dad is so black, they reinvented the color wheel. So, I mean, he was born back when they could still smoke in hospitals, so the doctors pull him out, right? And they're like, what color is that shit right there? We're gonna call it purple. That shit's new! Yeah, we invent some new shit out here with this kid. He's so black, man, and he went to a pretty, I guess you would say, urban area, so everyone in school was black, but their uniforms were white. In his basketball uniform, the contrast was so fucking bad, he looked like a fucking Jordan scuff mark on the goddamn floor, man. What the fuck is that? Seriously. sitting here bashing my dad, he's not even here. Typical. I feel so bad he can't defend himself. No, you know, man, something's funny, man, is that I can play, like I said, both sides, and I'm white enough to where I know what a credit score is, right? But I still get the head nod walking down the street. Shit, I remember the first time I got a head nod from a black guy. He said, "Was that for me?" Oh my God, that was for me. That was great. I found out on my great-grandmother's deathbed, I found out she was a racist. The fuck? By the way, I'm well into my 20s at this point, so I'm like, oh, no wonder we didn't go back for Thanksgiving. So I get to notice this minutes before we go into her room at the hospital, right? So we walk in, she's like, oh, it's so nice to have some visitors. I'm like, yeah, just for a few minutes when I find this breaker. I didn't feel too bad about pulling the plug. Hey, it was her time, man. Judging by her dental record, she's been around since George Washington, man. You know, this fucking cedar in her mouth. Fucking nasty, right? I love the fact that we're a marijuana state, man. You can smoke freely, right? Beautiful thing, beautiful thing. You know, a lot of people excel on pot, man. I don't. I sat through this class doing this shit and was like, oh man, this is funny as hell. I got high one time. Yep, that's great. That's great. Next day, looked at the jokes. Nope. Fuck that one up. I had jokes about watching people fall and be like, ha ha, that is fucking hilarious, man. Nope. I live in an apartment complex, man. And I will tell you right now, people lose their fucking innocence once you hear them fucking. Right? Yeah, right? You smell everyone's cooking, you're like, all right, that's fine, you're a shitty cook, whatever. You hear them fucking, and you're like, man, you strokes suck. Fuck! But now, the poor girl I live next to, every time I see her fold laundry, I'm like, nope. Sorry, Kate. I can't talk to you now. You almost came through my fucking wall like the fucking Kool-Aid man, eh? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, Kate's a chain smoker, so that's all my time, you guys. Thank you.
One more time for Ellen DeGeneres. All right, next comic, please give a round of applause for Anthony Milonis.
Well, I gotta tell you right now, amusement parks fucking suck. I mean, the food's terrible. You get a 1-star taste, a 5-star price, with a guaranteed 10-star diarrhea rating. Nothing like mid-loop to loop, everybody's having a great time, and me. I guess that's what happens when you slam a bucket of soda and deep throat a 5-foot corn dog. You know, I went to go get on this roller coaster, and I literally had to wedge myself one ass cheek at a time in this little baby booster seat. I was so confused. It was like putting Play-Doh through fish nets. So, you know, there I am, and all of a sudden I hear, boom, please lower safety harness. I look at everybody. Not this guy. Not even one. Yeah, I was embarrassed. All of a sudden, I see the rider attendant coming up. Now, a rider attendant, that's just a classy name for a goddamn carny. So this guy hobbles up to me. Is there a problem, sir? No problem. I'm just not gonna ride today, thank you. Now what this fucking carny heard was challenge in his brain when I said that. He blurted out in front of everybody, challenge accepted. He grabbed my harness and he put his knee on that harness and he starts jumping on me like a 70s porno. Don't worry, bro! I got you! I got you! It's fun! Now I'm gonna tell you, these sweet pecs that you see here have now fucking transformed into triple E man tits that are choking me out. I got a fupa that won't quit. For those of you, because you didn't laugh over here, what a fupa is a fat upper penis or pussy area, AKA the front butt for us biggins. Yeah. So I look at this guy, and I'm confused because I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? I got flesh popping out everywhere. I try to push it back in, you know what happens? It's like pushing that fart putty back into the container. I literally... I try to be discreet. I push it slow. And then I realize, it dawns on me. They've got safety signs everywhere. Safety signs about children must be this tall. Take the stuff off, you know, because you're gonna drop it. They even have a stick man with a decapitated head. You know what they don't have? They don't have a fat stick man with a circle around it with a goddamn slash through, warning me of eternal embarrassment. It's all right, I'm not that bitter, I just seem that bitter. But you know, here's the thing. You know that dad bod phase? Well, I'm what you call an XL dad bod. I struck that shit. I'm not gonna lie. The ladies like it. I got 5 numbers after I got off that ride. Who would have thought that this voluptuous man's sweater meat was such a hit in an amusement park? Which brings me to the very most important part of this, is when I feel down, you know what I think of? How my milkshake brings all the girls to the yard. Yeah, that's my time, thank you, Anthony.
All right, good for Anthony. He is talking about Silverwood, right? I mean, that's in Athol, Idaho. That's fucking weird, man. You ever give directions to somebody? Like, it's in Athol? They're like, what? You went too far, you went to Butthole, BC, or whatever. All right, next comic coming up. Please give a big round of applause for Chris Tequil. How's it going, guys?
So I am multiracial as well, and in Spokane it's hard to date someone of my race. And Spokane is the kind of area where if you don't like white girls, you better like white guys. There's not a lot of diversity. Not a lot of diversity in Spokane. But I went on a date recently with this girl, and I complimented her on her earrings. I said, oh, I like your earrings. And she said, thank you. It's a good thing you don't have earrings, otherwise you would look extremely gay. I was like, all right. That made me kind of self-conscious though, because if I'm 2 earrings away from extremely gay, am I walking around looking pretty gay the entire time? It's got to the point to where I wonder if there's ever been 2 guys at a bar and one's like, well, I want to go hit on that guy, but I don't know, what do you think? And his buddy's like, him? That guy's 2 earrings away from giving you a blowjob. Growing up, my parents, they would always say that my sister and I were spoiled. And I never really understood why, because on my block, I was the only kid in 2003 playing with Cabbage Patch dolls. But we were spoiled, right? And one of my neighbors, eventually he got an Xbox. And so I was like, sweet, I'm gonna go over and play. But he recently had an uncle move in. And his uncle was a known child molester. And so I knew I wasn't supposed to go over there. But I'm Native American, and so I've always been a little bit of a gambler. So I thought I'm gonna roll the dice right for some Tekken, like why not? And so I went over there one time, and I was like, man, Jimmy, I love playing this, but I don't know why we always have to play in our whitey tighties, man. It was a little weird. So I used to go to Eastern. I finished up last year, and they had an Islamic Awareness Week where they had the Islamic Club hand out flowers with little like scripture from the Quran. And I got one and I read it. I was like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. I just threw it away and walked right on past. But I was like, I really shouldn't be surprised that a Muslim blew my mind. All right. So, my sister's really excited for me to come back for the holidays. We live in Yakima, and she got a new toy. And I said, what kind of toy did you get? She said, oh, it's for self-defense. And I was like, oh, like a shotgun or some sweet-ass nunchucks? Like, what did you get? And she said, oh, I got a crossbow. It's like, you got a crossbow for home defense? And she's like, well, yeah. What if multiple people break in? And I was like, what? It's like, yeah, if multiple people break in, I want to get them all. And I was like, what do you want, fucking Pokemon? Like, you want to get all the criminals? And I was like, Taylor, where do you even practice? Like, where do you practice using your crossbow? And she said, oh, no, I don't actually practice. I was like, so then what do you do? She's like, I just sit out on the porch, and if anyone looks like they're gonna fuck with our house, I just point it at them. All right, there we go. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm Chris Tequila. That's all my time.
All right, we're gonna keep it moving. Please give it up for Eamon Neff. Yeah.
So, like most of the people you'll see on this stage tonight, I have a mental disorder. My particular flavor of mental illness is called sensory processing disorder, which makes it so that there are 2 objects that have similar shapes. They look 100% identical for me in particular. What this means is that my niece gets pissed at me because I can't help her solve puzzles fast enough. And she's 4. Puzzles aren't even the worst part of it though. What's really a nightmare is navigating a parking lot. Because from my perspective, any red car is definitely my car. And man, it was just 2 weeks ago that I couldn't get into my car last. And when I'm struggling with cars, I do my best to never blame my mental illness. It's always the car's fault. So I decided I'm gonna solve this problem the same way I solve all the other problems in my life, with brute force. I shove my key into the lock, unlubricated. But when I try the handle, the door doesn't open. Now, if you are starting to see some red flags at this point in the story, I want to let you know that you're not wrong, you're just smarter than me. So I try the handle again, and again, and again. And okay, there's one more thing you guys need to know about me. When I make Pop-Tarts in the morning, I always use the toaster, never the microwave. So I'm a pretty patient guy. But after about a dozen failed attempts at getting this car door open, I just get pissed and I yell, "Why the fuck won't this open?" At this point, I'm seeing red. I hear from about 10 feet away, "Excuse me, sir, will you please stop doing that?" I can tell from the voice that it's an elderly woman. And right away, I'm just like, okay, who's this senile bitch now? So I turn to her and I'm like, "Who are you and what do you want?" In response, she goes, "Well, I'm Sherry, beep beep, and that's my car." No, come on. Yeah, so I don't know how many of you have been delusional, but I can tell you that when reality hits, it hits like Mike fucking Tyson. Oh, this isn't my car. I'm not trying to break into my car. I'm trying to commit a felony. Thank you, Spokane. I'm Emin Neff. Have a good night.
All right, keep it going for Kurt Gerstug. He's coming up right next. Yeah.
This damn microphone is always too high for me. Don't get into my eye. Save it some time for the next person that's shorter than me. So, after getting divorced, I signed up for Tinder. It's kind of one of those things you have to do. And little did I know, it'd be like meeting some of the best of the worst possible matches you could get. It's kind of like Taco Bell tomatoes. They look like tomatoes. But they taste like defeat, man. Oh. So I meet up with this Tinderella at the zoo. And it was going so great. We get all the way to the back by the tigers, and then that old Tinder factor kicked in. Oh no. And we walk up to the tigers and I'm like, "You know, I don't really see them, do you?" She replies, scared the shit out of me. I was not expecting that at all. And I look over and she's passed out. Like in the dirt, blowing little dirt clouds out of her mouth. I'm like, oh shit. I found out that in an emergency, I'm the oh shit guy. Are you okay? Do you need any assistance? And this lady comes over and I get the dreaded, "What the fuck did you do to her?" I'm like, oh shit. This is my Tinder date. This is our first date. And the lady goes, oh, Tinder, I know Tinder, how's it going? It's like one of those pick your adventure books where you start on like page 6 and you escalate to 56 and she's out in front of everybody. So I ended up, I'm trying to remember how the rest of it. It was a traumatic experience. So she comes around and she's got these fucking bedroom eyes as she comes out of this slumber, which is a hard thing to pull off. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention I'm a narcoleptic. That would have been a good thing to know prior to going all the way to the back of the zoo, man. I was about ready to have to carry you out of here. Yeah, so after that, I didn't end up going out with her after that, and it was, she said, it's kind of, oh. I was so afraid to come up here because I got the worst pit stains ever. And this whole time I'm like, oh my God, keep your arms down. That's all I could think about. So, and I tell her, I said, you know, if you just want to go on a date and have a sleepover, we could have saved the time and just stayed at home. She goes, ha, ha, ha. Everyone's a comedian. And I replied, I looked right in the eye, I said, that was some Bill Cosby shit back there. Thank you, my name's Kurt Gerston.
Let's keep it going for the next comic, Rusty Jackson. It's the easiest name of the night. Come on, give him a good round of applause.
I need both hands to tell the story, I think. So this is, the thing is, I kind of don't like cats. I know every time I say that, there's always a few people like, what? How could you not like cats? Cats are so great. You know, cat ladies. And I don't want the cat ladies to hate me. I like cat ladies. You ever had a cat lady give you a bath? Pretty awesome, yeah. But when I was a kid, my brother brought home a stray cat, right? This gray, short-haired cat, beautiful cat. We named her Smokey, but what we didn't know was what a whore she was. Every night outside my window, loud sex somewhere. It was hard on a 12-year-old. And within a month, she's pregnant. And she could not even tell us who the father was. She's like, maybe it was the tabby. Maybe it was that calico across the street. I don't know. Maybe it was the big black one. I don't know. My dad's like, the what? Yeah. And so now we got 7 cats, 6 kittens. And I'm out on the corner giving away free kittens. You know, it's pretty easy to give away kittens because they do that thing, you know. And so you hand away, but the one of the kittens couldn't mew. It was like, it would open its mouth and it would go. And, so I named that one Squeaky, and we kept that one. So now we got Smokey, the mama, we got Squeaky, her baby. My dad's got a great idea. He says, we don't let her out at night, no more kittens. Turns out Squeaky was a motherfucker. I had never heard that word. I was 12, but I heard my dad say, we got to get rid of that motherfucking cat. And that's the best way to learn new vocabulary words, when you hear them used in proper context. And by the way, there's nothing good about having sex with your mom. Cats apparently do not know that. All those kittens came out with 2 heads. Actually, not 2 heads. They had 1 head, but this little lump on their shoulder kind of looked like a 2nd head. And all of those kittens died. I want you cat ladies to watch who laughs when I say the kittens died. Those are the people you should hate, not me. I'm just the messenger. So Dad goes back to his first idea. Got to get rid of the motherfucking cat. He puts an ad in the newspaper. Says, free cat to good home, loves to kill mice. I'm like, Dad, we don't have mice. Squeaky's never seen a mouse. He says, son, if I put an ad in the paper that says free cat to good home, loves to bang his mom. Nobody's gonna want that cat. So believe it or not, 30 miles away, somebody came, they took Squeaky away. 2 days later, Squeaky's back at our door. You know, sidling up next to Smokey, you know. And so Dad finally broke down, got Smokey fixed. Squeaky was kind of brokenhearted. Squeaky's out roaming the neighborhood now, looking for pussy, right? And, but at this point, regular cat sex is not enough for Squeaky, right? Squeaky's kinky. One day this little mutt wanders into our yard, and I guess this little dog was in heat because Squeaky grabbed on and started going at it. I'm at the window going, what is this? I mean, how does it work? What do you get if a cat screws a mutt? You get mittens? But this became another opportunity for my dad to teach me something, and actually the phrase that he uttered, I've been able to use it quite a bit in both my personal and professional life. Dad walks over to the window, looks out there, he says, I'll be damned. That motherfucking cat's out there screwing the pooch! I'm Rusty Jackson, thank you.
This next comic, we were sitting over there, and he's like, I would take that cat. Please give it up for very funny Steve Amaro.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for being here. No, really, thank you. I have 3 therapists, and I can't get one of them to call me back. Surprisingly enough, they didn't have any openings this evening. So I love being a dad. It's like my favorite thing in the world. I want to have more kids, but I got a couple problems. One of them, I'm single. That makes it kind of hard. And the other one is I'm 40, and that's kind of gross. So I was recently reminded that you should never steal from children. It's just not a good thing. I don't recommend it. Especially since when I was 5 years old, my mom's cousin stole my bike. Yeah. He stole my bike to buy crack cocaine. Super sad, right? It's like one of my earliest childhood memories. He stole the bike to buy crack cocaine, and I got really sad. And I still remember it. I remember it because I still had the price tag on it. It was worth about 2 crack rocks and a lifetime of disappointment. It's just, yeah. You know what's messed up? That guy didn't even show up to family reunions. And I know he had a bike. He could have gotten there. All right? I have a bike. I bought another one. I grew up, I got a job. I rode it to get here. It's freaking cold out there too. Listen, I recently got to go to his funeral. And the bike thief, I got to go to his funeral. And when I got there, I put 2 locks on my bike, just in case bike theft runs in my family, all right? You gotta be careful, you never know, right? What is it? What's the sentence? English is not my first language, so the thing doesn't fall too far from the tree, right? I spent that entire funeral looking in that casket for spare bike parts and maybe a little bit of crack cocaine. Oh gosh. All right, when I was in high school, listen, I was on the swim team. Right? The swim team's not the same as all of the other high school teams. You know, the camaraderie is not the same, right? You got football players. Football players, they get off the field, they're smacking each other in the ass. They got their end zone dances. Basketball players, they're always looking and dressing like hip hop stars, and they swish something at the court. They do that cool little run. Like, you can run faster than that. I'm sitting here watching TV for 3 hours. We can cut this game down to an hour and a half. Come on, man. Hustle up. Listen, swimmers, we didn't have none of that. We had shave parties. Shave parties. We would get together in some parent's house in a basement with like a crate of Barbasol and some Bic razors and try and become more aerodynamic. That's sports. That was sports for me. That's swimming. Have you ever seen a swimmer's face, by the way, when they're racing? Have you ever seen their face? It's pure panic. It's complete panic. Like, swimmers spend their entire race waterboarding themselves. just for their parents' love. And to forget that their bike was stolen to buy crack. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. I want all of you to be well and have a good night. My name is Steve Amaro.
All right, I can tell you guys are getting tired. Order a Red Bull vodka. Buck the fuck up. You guys are definitely gonna keep them going for the rest of the show. If you guys get tired, maybe come over here, touch one of them on the head, and get whatever they've got in their brain. This is the perfect time of the show to bring a very bubbly, very funny comic. Give it up for Jen Dempsey.
I was a really precocious little kid. And for those of you who don't know, precocious is the nice way to say this kid's an asshole. And I was precocious AF. In second grade, we had a substitute teacher, Mr. Dawson, who in passing one day said lions are the king of the jungle, which little kid Jen knew was arguably false, so I called him out on it. Mr. Dawson, lions aren't the king of the jungle. They don't even live in the jungle. He was, not amused. But when he saw that I wasn't gonna drop it, he told me to come talk to him about it after school. I am pretty sure that he was anticipating that I would forget about it. But I spent my entire life preparing for this moment. Yeah. I didn't spend every night reading through a binder of National Geographic animal fact sheets to sit idly by while a substitute teacher lied to the class. Mr. Dawson, lions cannot be the king of the jungle because they live in the savannas. There are a lot of other cats who live in the jungle, like jaguars or ocelots. So why aren't one of them the king of the jungle? Jen, it's a figure of speech. What? It's a thing and people say it and they don't necessarily mean it. That sounds like a fancy way to say it's a lie. Side note, don't try to explain abstract concepts to second graders, especially when they're calling you out, because you're obviously right, but kids' brains don't comprehend abstract, so you're wasting your time. What he should have done was taken the opportunity to teach me some cold hard truths about life. You're right, Jen. Lions don't live in the jungle, so they have no right to saunter in and announce that they're in charge, but white people have been doing it for thousands of years. Happy Thanksgiving. So November's been kind of weird for me. Earlier this month, my dentist referred me for a sleep study, and I don't know why I would pay a dentist to hook me up to electrodes and watch me sleep. I'd get that for free on Tinder. And the benefit of going the Tinder route is you don't have to worry about any of the insurance garbage. There's no copay, there's no deductible, no worrying about if they're in or out of network. The only question that you have to ask is, will this dude murder me in my sleep? Yeah. So I actually did go on a couple dates with a dentist from Tinder. Don't do this. Don't. Dentists are narcissistic creeps who are into weird shit. Which, if you think about it, totally makes sense. No kid wakes up one day, no normal, well-adjusted kid wakes up and decides, I'm gonna spend my entire life rooting around in people's mouths with metal tools and reminding them to floss. No, that's a precocious kid with limited social skills who realizes he can drive like a fancy-ass car if he just spends his entire life asking questions that he doesn't have to listen to the answer to because he's got a drill in their mouth. Tinder's really the worst though. The guy before the dentist was a 30-year-old grad student who spent all of his free time partying with undergrads and actually pulled out 2 of his own teeth within the last year. Yeah, and yes, wow was the appropriate response. And he had the worst social media presence that I've ever seen, and I'm Facebook friends with my dad's entire side of the family. But this guy posted, his best social media picture was a solitary, mediocre-looking pancake with the caption, "First attempt at vegetarian pancakes." I'm sorry, bro, do you normally cook your pancakes with roast beef? So if you've been single for any length of time, people have all sorts of ideas and advice for you. And one thing I get a lot is maybe you're too picky or your standards are too high. But last month I got ghosted by a former magician who lives out of a van and is facing felony charges in South Dakota. So there might be a problem with my standards, Mom, but it's not that they're too high. Thank you so much.
Yeah, keep going for Jen. That was awesome, right? Yeah. All right, we got about 4 more left. Then we'll have Harry J. Riley close the show. Please keep it going for Mark Simmons.
Holy crap. So my wife and I recently went on a safari in South Africa. It was awesome. But we have a 2-year-old and we couldn't bring her. The reason is the resort where we were at, they don't have fences around it, so there's nature right there. And you might just be sitting there and an elephant will walk right by. Or maybe a leopard is sharpening its claws on your cabin. So when you bring a 2-year-old, they're bait. So you don't bring a 2-year-old. One of the weird things on the safari was everywhere you look, besides the animals, there are all these hills, and they're termite hills. And they're just everywhere. They're as tall as you are, even taller. So I came up with a joke for that. What's a termite's favorite candy bar? No, it's actually Almond Joy. Apparently they like nuts. So when you're starting out doing comedy, really it's not a good idea to ask the audience, for answers to questions. My wife, she said, hey, I'll come to your shows, and if nobody says the answer, I'll yell it out for you. She also said I could make as much fun of her as I wanted to. I don't think those two things would go together very well. So here's how that joke would go after me laying into her for 10 minutes. What's a termite's favorite candy bar? I want a divorce. Yeah. So on the safari, the trucks, they're open, so there's no glass or anything, so you're right there. And they get you super close to the animals, like this close. And you want to touch the animals, and you could touch the animals, but you do not touch the animals. It's exactly like a strip club. Except the elephants are terrible pole dancers. But the hyenas, they give great lap dances. So yeah, we have a 2-year-old. And I'm 47, and this is my first child, so that's kind of weird. My wife and I, we used to, we'd spend our evenings talking about, world events and politics. Now, we find ourselves talking about the consistency of our 2-year-old's shit. And really, the only way to do that is to compare it to food, which is what we do at dinner. So was it more like brownies or like soft serve? No, it was really more like pea soup. Can you pass the chili? Thank you. So I like to read. I like to learn. Always be learning. It's good. One of the things I'm interested in is like social issues and things like that. There was this book I heard about the other day. And I was interested, I want to buy it. The problem was, the name of the book is a word that as a white person, I can't say this word. So I'm not going to go to the bookstore and ask for this book. No way. So I decided I'm just going to look it up on Amazon on my phone. Problem is, Now my autocomplete is racist. My boss sent me a message the other day. He said, hey, should we get going on this project? I said, pull the trigger. Yeah, I almost got fired. Anyway, thank you.
All right, keep that enthusiasm going for the next comic, Kyle Jones.
So there's this little show called Shark Tank. I'm sure some of you have watched it before. On an episode, an entrepreneur usually comes up and pitches one of three ideas. It's usually something that you can't believe hasn't been made, a useless piece of shit, or it's something that you thought of years ago, but you were just too fucking lazy to actually go and do it. Now, a long time ago, there was an episode where they had a product called the Squatty Potty. Now, if you don't know what the Squatty Potty is, it actually sits underneath the toilet here, and you kind of pull it out, and you put your feet on it. And at first, I thought it was, well, a useless piece of shit. But, come to find out, it's a multi-million-dollar company now, so what the fuck do I know, right? Well, basically, it kind of relaxes you and puts you like in the position, right? So you can get your business done really nicely. Kind of like a sex pillow for the toilet. Now, that product got me bit by the entrepreneur bug, and not the kind of bite that would make you try to climb up a pyramid on Facebook. So, my very first Shark Tank idea was kind of brought upon when I was helping my son with a science project. And it involved quite a bit of carpentry skills. And embarrassingly enough, I don't have any. Now, I look like I would have some, right? And it's pretty fucking pathetic that I don't. And growing up, my dad tried to teach me some carpentry skills, but when the work got really hard, I kind of bounced faster than some guy on Maury finding out that he's not the dad. Now, my dad, he's a really nice guy, but he's kind of a pussy. Thanks for coming to my show, Dad. Love you. And I know I needed somebody in my life. He was going to push me, motivate me, help me achieve better goals. And that's where this app idea came. It's called Clothes Carrying Hands. And what it is you set up a profile and you talk about yourself just a little bit, your dreams, your goals, what you want to be better at. And don't forget to talk about yourself a little bit. Under my picture, I'm going to put the redheaded stepchild that you always wanted. So once your profile is set up, you get set up with a local drunk stepdad. And he is going to abuse you until you are something that you always wanted to be. Now, I'm 30 years old, and I feel like I'm a little complacent. There's a lot of things I want to know, I want to learn, I want to be better at. And I don't think that every high school movie character I've ever seen gets to have the luxury of having a drunk stepdad. I want one too. So the second idea I had, which hopefully I can actually achieve, because now I have my drunk stepdaddy to help me out, came about when I was playing Call of Duty. Now, it's a video game for some of you that don't know, and in that video game, you're usually playing in one of our country's many wars. World War II, Vietnam, or what Call of Duty likes to call advanced warfare, which takes place usually right before the world becomes a Mohawk-infested shithole. And my idea with that is, with the whole company idea is, you would send in your DNA and you would get a code back to play as one of your ancestors in these Call of Duty games. So, I'm aware that this can have some side effects. It could be bad too. So, for instance, one of your ancestors could have been the milkman back at home, keeping the house in check. One of your ancestors could have been a draft dodger running over to Canada, or it could have been a Nazi soldier. In that case, if you win the game, you would just move to North Idaho and retire. And I know my company idea has some flaws, but it's a lot better than 23andMe, which last time I did it, all I found out is I was 50 shades of white, and I come from a long line of lactose intolerance. That's my time, thanks guys.
All right, we're going to keep this going. We got 2 more comics, so keep the enthusiasm, and then we're going to bring up Harry J. Riley to close out the show. Please give it up for the next comic, Chris Hoke.
Just talking to a buddy of mine this week from the Seattle area. We were kind of going back and forth over their drug problem versus ours. And he was telling me that they're building a $22 million free needle clinic. And I told him we've kind of been ahead of the game on more of a budget. And I think in Spokane, someone just walks around downtown throwing free needles all over the sidewalks and the bushes. And from the perspective of a 9-year recovering alcoholic, I don't really see the whole enabling to cure thing. It doesn't make sense to me, you know? Like, what's next? Sex addicts get a free pussy clinic? I mean, I'm not a sex addict, but I was a teenage boy once. And if they had free pussy clinics when I was in high school, I would have never graduated. I would have been living in the streets under a blue tarp, waiting for that open sign to click on, rush right through the door. Good morning. I'm back for more rigorous treatment of my threesome addiction. And I think it helps speed up my recovery if they're wearing strap-ons. And this time, can they be rubber so I don't chip a tooth again? Yeah, through my personal journey with alcohol, I got to know a few of the AAs, at least the important ones. Admission and apology, and I don't really see how that would play out here either. Teenage boys don't admit to shit, and apology. How do you apologize to a jar of Vaseline and a Kleenex box? You know, and take the analogy a step further, like alcoholics are commonly abusive, and really the only thing a teenage boy's abusing is his softest tube sock. You really get that one. And that's really more of a violation than abuse anyway. And that evidence gets destroyed, cleaned up off the floor by the family dog. But it's about to get worse. I don't think you take a smoke break or anything. Family dog. And I lost my place. Yeah. Well, speaking of violations and evidence, I mean, all the silly stuff like, are we gonna outlaw or cure DUIs with the drunk driving lane? Of course not. That's stupid. But when I heard of Tesla's autopilot, I thought, well, geez, if these cars can drive themselves, the DUIs will be a thing of the past. And the second thing I thought of, the most obvious, is roadhead. Not autopilot sex, that shit's unsafe, seen it on Pornhub, but roadhead. It's now safe, practical, and should be legal. You single guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Married guys, it was a thing, it happened. It was a while back, and she wanted a ring and kids, and you really mattered. If you get something you want, and then in return, as a favor, the other person gets something they want, it's called quid pro quo. I recently learned that. And the other thing I learned is that people in Idaho do not get roadhead jokes. I was telling this, and they're kind of staring at me, and I'm like, had to recover real quick and talk in terms that they would understand, and it worked. Roadhead. It's what happened when you went to your family reunion and took your cousin for a drive. Told ya. And that's the good shit too, he's missing his teeth. It's all right. Idahoans can take a joke, they're tough. Their state flower is the swastika. But I got off track a bit, I'm sorry. All joking aside, sex addiction is real and serious, statistically affecting mostly men. So after the show, I'll be in the back if you're one of the rare affected females. I'm a safe space to share any real specific details about your struggles. Hopefully some pictures and videos. And if you're not comfortable with that, you can follow me and my wife home. Well, anyway, my name's Chris Hope. Thank you for your time.
I'm 2 earrings away from taking up on that, according to All right, cool. We have the last student of the night. He is a very, very funny guy, so please put your hands together for Frank Dillard.
I'm 45 years old, I've never been married, and I don't have children. I've been on so many dates, I'm like Mowgli from the Jungle Book, left in the wild and raised by a pack of hookers. I want to get married, but my mother doesn't allow sleepovers. I don't have children because I hate children. I hate children for the same reason I hate lizards and snakes. Quick, darting movements. And they're usually poisonous. Parents shouldn't be proud of their kids until their kids are at least 40. All kids start strong, but by 30, they're stealing cocaine out of your purse. I come out for short, intense cycles of dating, then return to hibernation, much like the clown in It. On first dates, I like to bring 2 gifts that imply empathy and creativity: an elderly rescue dog and a nude self-portrait. I'm a hopeless romantic. At the end of every date, I order 2 spoons and a bowl of candy corns. One good thing about dating a lot is you learn about good blowjobs and bad blowjobs. Women that give good blowjobs are easily identified by their birds of paradise tattoos. Women that give bad blowjobs are easily identified by their stable childhoods. I recently spent a weekend with a woman just like me, only crazier. We decided that we would totally have sex again, but could never be in a relationship. It would only end in a murder-suicide. I actually have a great picture from that weekend with my dog peeking out from behind her ass. My dog does great camera work, but is a very demanding director. You know you're an adult when at the end of a relationship, you have to return a remote control clit stimulator and high-end anal lube. You're like, no, this is all your stuff. All my toys are powered by an air compressor. The best part about internet dating is finding out your date looks nothing like their profile picture. But I understand, these were all taken before prison. I've learned some interesting rules about older dating. You will have a conversation about frozen embryos and vaginal dryness. She will not reveal the sleep apnea headgear until at least the third sleepover. Don't sleep with the hotel maid and then blow her off. She will report your dope stash. Don't get drunk and fight with a Vietnam veteran. It will not get you a second date. If your date gets arrested for drunk in public and tries to put her cigarette out on the cop, she will be fantastic in bed. Don't tell your girlfriend that your sex music playlist has been very popular. Your new girlfriend will not allow you to use your old girlfriend's sex toys on her, even if you put them in the dishwasher. Never tell an older chick she's a handsome woman. If your partner doesn't mention the pungent odor of her vagina, you shouldn't either. I like to imagine God dating. If a chick met God in a bar, she'd tell her friends, he seems kind of crazy, but has a really good job. God's hair and beard would imply he rides a Harley or is deeply depressed. I think God's profile would say things like, I'm a little judgmental, but working on it. Looking for a virgin, preferably single, not like that last tramp. Have kids, don't want more, okay if you do. Thank you.
All right, that's all the students of the evening. I really think, absolutely, yeah. It's a big step. A lot of people want to try stand-up comedy, but they never get around to it. Everybody here did that, and that's a really cool thing. So I think it's cool that everybody here supported them. So thank you for coming out and spending your time. And real quick, to any of the students, we're going to take a picture like way after the show. So stick around if you want to get a picture on the stage. So that was a little housekeeping. So to round out the show, you have a very special guest tonight. It's the other person that taught the class, a good friend of mine named Harry J. Riley. One person knows, cool. Harry's mom is here. I don't know what's going on over there. Harry's a great comic. He's been in the finals of Seattle International Comedy Festival. He's been in the semifinals of the San Francisco International Comedy Festival, and he's open for almost anybody you can think of. So please give it up for my good friend, Harry J. Riley.
One more time for Phil Kopczynski, everybody. Me and him was in that competition together. He got second place, I got fifth place. A lot of thousands of dollars difference. But I don't hold it against them, you know. I just wait until they're asleep and I masturbate in his truck. My daughter goes, Dad, tired of this vagina. I'm tired of having a vagina. I like being a woman, but I hate having a vagina. I was like, well, don't look over on Team Dingaling because it's just as bad over here. Which is a lie. It's pretty awesome over here. Way less maintenance.
Every female is like an Italian sports car. They're real good to look at, you want to drive it. But you know sooner or later that engine's gonna break down and it's gonna be expensive as shit. I don't know what she's making a fuss about anyway. All genitalia look ugly. I don't care what you say. Just because you got it doesn't mean it's the best looking. They're all disgusting. They all should not be looked at directly. Penises always look like sad carpenters looking for work in the next town over. I've never seen a penis where I was like, that's a bright young fella right there. No, never. They talking about intelligent design. Whoever designed the balls is a goddamn idiot. You mean to tell me the thing that helps produce life is so in need to be in a temperature-controlled environment that you have it just dangling there between people's thighs? And not everybody's thighs are the same width. I got some big-ass power lifter thighs. That's probably why I only got one child. That was just one lucky shot. I'm the Oswald of baby making. I just got that one shot and I was like, oh, I better not try again. Penises always look sad, never seen one. They always look like an amputated leg or something. There's just lots of weird veins and shit going on. And who looked at foreskin and was like, yeah, that's something we should have on there. Shit, I got foreskin, and I'm proud of it, goddammit. I'm proud of it, because ladies, you know when you see that, you're like, well, this will be over quickly. My penis is still sensitive. It's not like those old shaven head sons of bitches. Got it all numb from moving around in their pants. My penis head hasn't seen the light of day in 45 years. It's like Ted Kaczynski, it's serving life. I don't even look at my penis, I don't even look at my balls. That's why sometimes the hair just gets outrageous. You know, like you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh man, I don't want to get up, and then you reach down there, you're like, holy shit. Feel like I'm playing in Whitney Houston's hair right now, man. What's... I will always know. Tried to shave it, got that one long ass gray hair. I'm like, where have you been? You look like a 30-year-old hair. I'm pretty sure he's the one that's like ducking by my taint. Like if I stay back here, he never housekeeps the taint. Then when the other hair starts growing, he's walking around, strutting around, trying to teach them how to survive. Look, you ain't got nothing to worry about. He only clear cuts every 6 to 7 months. I don't even get self-conscious about my pubic hair until like I have somebody come stay the night, and then I look at my bar of soap. Look like a goddamn caterpillar. I'm like, oh man. I better hide this and tell them to use the body wash. But it's not like vaginas are any more like special looking. I mean, I like them, I prefer them. They taste delicious. But it's not like they're any better looking. I mean, they either look like someone bit a lemon, always look like bad plastic surgery. You ever seen like Tara Reid's face? It's like, yeah, that's how some vaginas look. Some of them look like a Jimmy John sandwich. And if you don't know anything about vagina, that's why I think they should teach, as a matter of fact, they should teach sex ed earlier. It's way too late. By the time you're 12, 13, you've been tugging at yourself for 2 years by then. You shouldn't then learn about the parts and nomenclature when you're a teenager, when you've already been tugging on yourself. Like, oh, that was a foreskin I almost pulled off. That's weird. Because guys just go down there, they have no clue what they're doing. They're like spelunking, they're just down there exploring. There's all kinds of lips and stuff, like an octopus, just so many layers. Have you ever tried to look into a vagina? Like looking into the face of Cthulhu or something. It's like, whoa, that's... When you stare in the abyss stares back, man. Man, I worry about my kid constantly. I feel like if you're not constantly worried about your child, I don't think you are working hard enough as a parent, because you should be constantly scared, like, oh man, she's got a phone. What if one of these people that got away from Chris Hansen gets a hold of her? She drives now. I'm always worried about someone pulling a grift on her. You know, like someone tapping the back of a car and they're like, hey, you gotta meet me in this abandoned building or I'm gonna sue your insurance company. And because she's just as cheap as I am, she's like, I'll do anything not to spend any money. The next thing you know, I gotta buy my kid off the dark web. I don't want that shit. My child's a big old gal. Well, when you usually say big old gal, that usually means like that. But she's like a skinny Serena Williams. Just got big ass shoulders, that country strength. Sometimes I'll be wrestling with her and she'll lift me off the ground like, hey man, stop. Shit, once you get your dad's feet off the ground, you gotta stop, goddammit. You know I was raised with a goddamn power lifter. Man, let me tell you something, women's powerlifting, man, that's my new sexiest thing on earth, boy. Shit, I like a woman that can lift me, shit. And the cool thing about women's powerlifting is they're still doing the weights, but they're women, so they're still doing cute shit. Like I watched this one lady for the United States, Kate, you know, like a really white name, like Kate Rickenbacker, you know, something like that. She gets up to the weight. I was like, oh my goodness, I want to have your goddamn baby. Had them big ass thighs, boy, those are head crushers right there, boy. You know you're doing well when you start just seeing your eyeballs, veins and shit. Like, I don't like racists, don't like racists. I always find racism to be a weird concept. You mean to tell me you don't like somebody for things they can't change? That's weird. For something they can't change? Their skin color or what religion? That's weird. You can't change that. And why are we hating people who can't change things when there's so many valid people on this planet to hate? People who double park. I hate those people. That's why I just carry a bag of nails in my car at all times. People who don't take their grocery cart and put it back in a little thing, they just have it out. It's like, you mean to tell me you walked around the entire store to pick that shit up, but you couldn't walk the extra 8 feet to put the cart away? You're an extra lazy motherfucker if that's the case. People who play their music like loud, like on a Bluetooth speaker while they're just walking around town. It's like, what the fuck is you doing? You can buy headphones for $3.99. That's why I have 78 of them in my car. And when I see somebody walking down the street playing their music, I politely pull it out and I strangle them with the cord. I'm not giving you shit, you deserve to die. All right, that was the end of the jokes. I'm so proud of all these guys because comedy is an unusual art because you stand up on stage and you're telling things that's like a layer inside your subconscious. You're telling people things that you don't know if they even are going to agree with. So it's always, I always get so excited when I see people who want to try it because it was a life changer for me. It gave me a new outlook on life. I got to meet great people. I got to do all kinds of crazy things. I got to meet, Phil. Phil's a good friend of mine. So I mean, I'm just so glad that you guys came out and supported them because comedy is something that you need people for. It's not like a movie where you can make it and 2 people watch it and you're like, well, I still made it. I still made the movie. It exists. Comedy doesn't exist and nobody watches it. That's just somebody talking to themselves, and there's plenty of those people on the planet just saying crazy shit. Every time I walk by the library, there's always somebody, why isn't Pluto a planet? It's like, dude, that was 10 years ago. I know, I just read about it. Holy shit. So, thank you guys so much for coming out. And thank you to all the graduates. You guys did a great job. You guys have a good night.
Yeah, so after a lot of comedy shows, if you haven't been to a lot, you get free tickets to a show if you support the comics that are working the show. So you get 2 free tickets. No, but that's the crowd mic, so it's fine, it's fine. No, he's just calibrating it with his mouth. No, you gotta lick it to calibrate it. That's the kind of... No, so I showed Harry a gym I work out at. It was an all-female gym, and I was working out there for a long time, and it's it was like a bodybuilder gym, and I didn't realize it until I saw the posters on the wall. They were like motivational. They said, I don't quit when I'm tired, I quit when I'm done. When I first saw it, I was like, that's a great poster for giving head. And Jesus. I don't know if Jesus gave head, probably. It's a lot, I mean, they didn't shave back then, so it was just hair mingling into hair. I was like, Mary Magdalene, that is quite a beaver. No, it's half of it's Jesus' beard. Anyway, we're getting off track. Did you pitch your shirt? Oh, so we both sell shirts after shows. We do this on the road. You can buy mine, you can buy his, it doesn't matter. Mine says, I don't quit when I'm tired, I quit when I'm done. And when you lift this up, it says, this shirt is about giving head. And Christmas season's coming up. If your 6th grader needs something cool to wear, you know. I also have these beer koozies that say real men drink breast milk, and you can, yeah. So, and here's the thing, like all comedians have a lot of social media. It really helps if you follow them. Harry's got a lot of funny shit on his. I'm just trying to do this thing right now that Harry's been really supportive on. I take sexy pictures of myself in hotels I stay all over the country doing comedy. It's called Hotel Boudoir. And if you search hashtag Hotel Boudoir, it's all these like international models staying at these amazing boutique hotels and lingerie, and they're on the bed like this, and then it's a picture of me like blow drying my balls at a Best Western. And Harry, I appreciate the pictures you've taken. He's a really good photographer. I think I'm at 8. Once I hit 12, I think I'm doing a calendar for free on my website. So follow me on there. We'll be over there selling merch. Like I said, if you buy anything from me or Harry, you'll get 2 free tickets to a future show, which you can spend to see me or Harry or a lot of other comics. And if any of these people make a terrible decision to choose to do comedy further on in their life, please keep supporting them, because like he said, that's all you can do. So.
You can buy my shirt too. If you want. Toodaloo.